Cooler Master are renowned for its vast array of cases. What's new in this area, and what was your all-time favorite?
That's a pretty good question. We've got a bunch of releases lined up. We've just announced a whole stack of the Master Box range. Probably the most interesting one that's coming out recently is going to be the C700M. So that's currently been announced, and stock is due to land around January time. That's going to be like a flagship product from here on out. Cosmos range is renowned as the king of the case market, basically being high end, full of features. Basically everything we can throw into a case and make it full fledged, we put into the Cosmos range. And for that reason, I'd actually say my favorite case is probably going to be the Cosmos 2. I would probably say is my favorite, just because it's an iconic case. It looks good, the handles are great, and it might not be the most functional case for someone like me, as I can't pick that up. It's super heavy, but I just love to build in it, and I love to see a full build system with it as well.
On the peripheral side, what is your top seller, and why do you think it does so well?
That's a pretty easy one. Our top seller in terms of bundles is always and has been the Devastator range. The Devastator range is just a good, very, very good entry-level keyboard and mouse bundle. It's got lighting, like different color lighting as well. It's not RGB, so you can't change each individual switch to a different color, but the backlight can be changed to 7 different colors. For example, that's on the mouse and the keyboard as well. The build quality is great and it looks good. So for that reason, Devastator 3 probably, I would say, definitely the best-selling keyboard and mouse bundle that we have, and for those same reasons as well.
So many people think Cooler Master is geared towards the blingy and lit-up cases. There are those that would like the flip case without all of this. What would you recommend for those that want the quality of Cooler Master but a bit understated?
Okay, that's a good question. It actually comes back to the naming scheme for products, actually. So to take, for example, the MC series, we do MC 500 and we do the MC 600 range as well. The 5, so the odd numbers over cases, when something's MC 5 is usually more of an aggressive gamery look, whereas the even numbers mean a more sleeker look, something that's a bit more discreet and not in your face. So starting from like the top of the range stuff, we do MC 600E. That's more of a sleeker looking case, but then as you go down, you do get cases that are more like your traditional home office PCs, something that you usually see under someone's desk, for example, just chugging along doing whatever work they need to do. So we've got the E300L, which is an M-ATX chassis, and we do the E500L, which is the same case, but in an ATX form factor. So yeah, we do have, from the entry-level stuff, E300L, E500, going all the way up to the MC600P, for example, which is your high-end, but still discreet-looking case.
Why has Cooler Master suddenly gone to numbers for their cases instead of the names like we're used to in the past?
Yeah, so in the past we had, for example, CM Storm followed by, a different style of case. It would be the Trooper or Striker or whatever, and so on and so forth. To try and simplify things, they created the Master Case range, and then in the past it was Master Box 5 or something else to that sort. But there was a lot of feedback where people didn't want to have Cooler Master Box 5, especially in titles and websites, for example. So we've then taken that idea and condensed it down even more. So now it's, instead of Cooler Master and Master Box 5, it's now almost the Cooler Master name's not there, but just MB500. So still stands for Master Box 5, but we've just shortened everything down and done MB500. The 500 is still there. I mean, we could have done the MB5, but then for the next iteration, for example, if we iterated the Master Box 5, we'd now do MB500, MB501, MB502, so that can improve your different iterations and cases as well. So it just means we've got a good naming scheme to build a foundation on, and in the future, as we release more cases, we can build up on that naming scheme as well.
In regards to some of your competitors having enough products on the market to make a full computer system, minus the CPU and Windows, do you feel this is a good thing? And can you see Cooler Master doing this?
That's a good question. Traditionally, we're strong in what we make, so we're really good with case, cooling, power supply, and peripherals. So there's no really good reason for us to diverge from that. I mean, there's people that make RAM and SSDs and everything out there and are traditionally very strong in that market. Same with motherboards and everything else. I know, there's been some case manufacturers that have moved towards trying to do different style of components, but we know where the players are strong and we know where we're strong at, so that's what we're going to try and focus on, iterate on, and try and beat the competition in our space, basically.
What's new? What products can we expect to see in the near future?
Well, we announced a bunch of stuff at Computex earlier this year, and a lot of those products that we first showed off the start of the year and now coming into market as well. So MB530P is a great example. That's going to be kind of a mid to high end range case with ARGB fans and tempered glass all the way around. That's not landed into channel yet, but that's coming down very soon. Same with keyboards. We've had a bunch of stuff that was announced at Computex with chiclet style keyboards, which we've never really tried out in the past, and there's a lot of end user feedback on that this is what we want to see in the market. So cool, exciting stuff from case, from peripherals as well. In the cooling space, we have 360mm rads coming out very soon as well. So that'll be a 360mm RGB cooler and an ARGB cooler. We're of course been pushing really heavily with ARGB, so that's going to be something that's going to be a focus on. Moving on down from the range, Threadripper is obviously something that's really high end, and a lot of people kind of look at it in awe. And we're trying to tame Threadripper as well. So we've got a Threadripper cooler that's launching very soon as well. In fact, on its way to distribution as we speak. So yeah, that covers much of the product stack. There is really cool items that are coming out, and if you need to see more, having a look at the Computex roundup is a great start, because then you can see what was there earlier this year to what we're actually bringing out later this year.
What Cooler Master product has surprised you the most, and how people have liked it?
We do a case called the MB600L, and when we first saw it in our own hands, we thought it would be a good home office, maybe gaming build style chassis. And the reception from that case, from all the customers that we have, as well as end users, has been absolutely unreal. From people using it for just pure workstations to pure gaming, and it shows in the number that we actually sell of the case. It's been a tremendous response from earlier this year to where we are now with that chassis, for example. So it just goes to show sometimes we look at a case just with our own eyes and kind of go, probably going to hit a specific audience, but then sooner or later we just find out that it could attract many different types of audiences and does really well in the market, something that we were not fully expecting it to do.
How is Cooler Master helping independent traders?
That's a good question, and it's why I'm standing here, really. So when I first came into the company, my main aim was to try and help as many independent stores as possible. And over the past year and a half, I think the number of customers that we have throughout the whole of the UK has really grown, and the level of support that we're trying to provide to people has definitely increased. And I think people are seeing really good. We've had great feedback from people, just to put it into simple terms, that there are people who are really appreciative of what we've done in the past year and a half. And we're still trying to expand on that. Obviously, we're a small team, so we can't reach out and meet everyone. But what we plan to do is visit customers, see what their business is about, where can we be involved, and what kind of support they'll need from us. So traditionally, samples is a good way to begin with. We can't obviously provide the world, but even little bits and bobs where we can, if it's just something for display, or if we can help you build a system for display, get products on display itself. POS kits is another thing that we've been toying with. We obviously have POS kits available from distribution, but we've been toying around with creating our own. So we create our own posters, on leaflets, on flyers that we can provide to you, and you can have these out on show and entice people through that way as well. And website support. We have a graphics design team back in Netherlands. They can create basically anything from banners to images to social media stuff that you need. So we obviously get involved in that front as well, where if you don't have the time, or you don't have the actual speciality or creativity to create stuff, we can help out in that front as well. And finally, social media as well. So traditionally, social media is a little bit of a hard one because it doesn't do that well for local posts. You really have to drive in a lot of money to social media to actually get something out of it. So when we do gaming events, for example, we publicize that on our social media channels and try and boost it as much as we can. But we're also doing things on the website with where to buy links. So if people click on Cooler Master website, click on the product, your shop can then turn up on a where to buy page, depending on where your location is. Right now, it's still in stage 1. We're revamping our website to make it even better. And that will be happening somewhere around the end of this year towards next year as well, where hopefully like an interactive map where people can pick where they want to go and what's closer.
What do you see being the next big thing in computer industry? VR, AR, or are they just phases?
Well, I wouldn't say the phases. Coming from someone who's literally grown up with VR from, well, not the early days VR, but the recent day VR. So Oculus Development Kit 1, Development Kit 2, to what we have with HTC Vive. Seeing the progression from those stages to what we have now is, night and day difference. And I don't think it's ever going to stop. It's never going to slow down. More and more people are going to be enticed into it as the price point drops. We are obviously seeing Oculus and HTC and other companies trying to drive this down into mainstream audiences. Samsung's doing really well with trying to get this out to pretty much everyone they can think of. How many people have a Samsung phone? They want everyone who's got a Samsung phone to have a VR headset. So it won't stop. AR, on the other hand, is still, I think, in my opinion, a few, maybe 5-ish years away. Probably overestimating that with the way technology moves. But the technology's maybe not just there yet, but I think given time, it will be there. And in my opinion, AR will probably have the biggest impact on the general technology movement and probably be the next big thing in terms of the industry and what we have right now as technology moves on. AR just fits into a lot more people's lifestyle and can be more usable compared to VR. So yeah, that's where I see AR and VR going. And maybe, who knows, we can do different stuff with AI in the future. Lots of cool things happening in that regards as well. There's cool technology happening all the time right now, so we're living in a great time.
Thank you.